Okay, I'm going to put together another small example here on inheritance, just because I think it'll make more sense. Okay, so in this case, I've just put together a program where I'm looking at a vehicle class as a superclass for a car class and a boat class. Okay, and I've gone ahead and coded these up. But let me get all this squared away here to show you what I've done. Okay, so start, I'm sharing the right thing. Share Eclipse. There we go. I started with this vehicle class. Okay, so for the vehicle class, it's going to have the following stuff here, and those ZZs don't need to be there. Okay, so for the vehicle class, I'm going to have a name, which is a string. Okay, and I'm going to have an int for the capacity, which is how much the vehicle can hold. Okay, and as far as the methods, I'm going to have a constructor there. And notice I'm putting a note here that I'm in the V constructor, just so we know what's going on there. Okay, and then I'm just setting this name equal to name and this capacity equal to capacity. Okay. In addition, I'm putting out a get name and a get capacity. Okay, and then I'm overriding the toString function just to print out things. Okay, so again, toString is a class or is a method that every object has. This override here, the book mentions it just in one page. I don't think I mentioned the other video. It's optional, and it's the ampersand override with capital O. And what it does, the compiler verifies that there really is something called toString. Okay, it prevents you from doing something like to small letter string. It would be an error. Without the override, it wouldn't. So it's optional, but it is useful. Okay. So this vehicle just has a name and a capacity. And again, this is a baby case. This is not something you'd really do, but it's less complicated. So hopefully it will be clearer what's happening on this one. Okay. So then to test this one, I just create this VTest program. So it's going to say V car is equal to new V, and it takes the name, which is a string, and the capacity. These numbers are totally made up. Okay. And then I'm just doing a out of the get name, the get capacity, and then the toString. Okay. So this first shows us that we're just in the V constructor. Okay. And then it prints out the name, then it prints out the capacity, and then our toString says that the Civic has a capacity of 500. Okay. So now on that, based on that, I want to create a car class and a boat class, let's say. Okay. So let's start with the car class. So for the car class, I'm going to say that public class C extends V. Okay, so car extends vehicle. I was just being lazy on typing. Okay, it's going to add an int door. Okay, number of doors the car has. Okay, so the constructor now for C, so public C, takes the string name, the int capacity that were from over here. Okay, and it adds in an int for doors. So the first task I have, and I have to do this the very first thing, I can't do anything else before this. I have to call the superclass constructor by saying super with that name and capacity. Okay, and then I have to deal with the additional data that this door is equal to doors. And then I'm going to print out now that I'm in the C constructor, just so we know. Okay, and then we have just one method to get doors, and I could change the toString, but it didn't seem to matter for this one. Okay, so what this is going to happen when it runs, I'm going to see that it's going to call the V constructor first and then the C constructor. Okay, so I'm in the V constructor. Okay, and then for some reason, why didn't it do that? Oh, I'm not in the test. There we go. Let's go in the test. Here we go. When I create this new car, which is Outback 1004 for 4 doors, Now I'm going to do the toString from the car1, which hasn't changed. Okay, but there we go. Now I'm in the V constructor first, then I'm in the C constructor, and now it says the Outback has a capacity of 100 or 1,000. Okay, I could, if I wanted, I could go back to here and overload the toString again, or override. Okay, so if I would do, that's a string. No, it's public. String, toString. Okay, it takes nothing. Okay, and then I can just return. And then it had it's also in the book. Yeah, the string.format looks like a printf. Okay, so I can do a string that's from the string class, so it's a static method. .format. Now I can do my S for the name has %d doors and a capacity of another %d for that. Okay, then over here I can do the name, the capacity, and the doors. Okay. Notice we have a problem here now. Okay, the problem being name and capacity. I don't have access to them because they're not in the car class. They're in the vehicle class. Okay, so what I can do there, if I go back to this class, instead of private, I can make this protected. Okay, and when I do that, it means that, and I'll go ahead and save that. It means that I now should have access to them, and that error has gone away. Okay, so now in the test, when I run it, you see that I must have had the wrong order. We have 1,000 doors and a capacity of 4. Okay, that's not right. Doors comes first. There we go. Let's try that. Yes. Okay. So that's how we can deal with that. That's why having it protected. The other thing I could have done there, I mean, my other option back in back here would have been to say using the get. I could say where are we at? I would have had to run the get the super.get name and then the super.get, oh, not get doors is not one of them. The super.get name and super.get capacity. I could have done that, okay? But I think that usually it's simpler just to make them protected. That's not right at all. That's right. Need. So, and then the last thing I wanted to do in this shortish video, if I wanted to also extend off from the vehicle class. So again, I'm extending back to the vehicle class. This time I'm going to add the length because boats usually have lengths. Let's say number of sails. If it's not a sailboat, it would be 0. If not, it could be 1 or 2 or whatever. Okay. So this time again, for my constructor, it has to have what was required of the superclass, the name and the capacity. I'm then adding 2 more. Okay, there's no doors because let's look at our ISA. A boat is a vehicle. A car is a vehicle. A car is not a boat. A boat is not a car. Okay, there's no connection between those at all. Okay, so again, I'm going to call the super on the name capacity to create that superclass stuff, run that constructor, and then I'm going to do this length and then this num sales. And then I'm just adding in a get length and a get num sales. You could override the toString here as well if you want. Okay, but that's the basic idea. That's kind of like a simplified example of what inheritance looks like. Okay, so hopefully that'll be a little more clear. Okay, so yeah, let me know if that makes any more sense and if you have any questions about that.